March 11th is Neymar's day, bro. You know he's not playing on that day. Around that date, he is gone. We have to talk about the state of the Brazilian national team, relying on a 33-year-old Neymar to carry them to the next World Cup. What's your guys' thoughts?
Well, off an injury, you mean like what should be for most players a career-ending or career-affecting ACL injury, and then going to play in a league that is far lower of a standard than the one he was at.
To be precise, yeah, I didn't put it like that, but you said it. Yeah.
No, I think context is everything here, man. And look, in a previous segment we talked about edits, and I'm not saying Neymar is an edit merchant.
Please don't.
I would like to make that clear now. But I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sitting down and watching 90 minutes of Santos. But man, that's a drop in level, and he's a different player, dude. Like he can't be the same as he was. So I think the expectation that he'll carry Brazil still is pretty unfair.
How do you guys feel about Neymar still having that effect on the Brazilian national team? Is this good for Brazilian football or bad, that the fact that he's still such an important player to them?
No, I think it's good that they have such a massive star to look up to, 100%. But I just feel like Neymar's never been a leader, except when he was in PSG. Like in PSG is when I...
Ooh, has Neymar ever been a leader? That's a good question.
That's a juicy question, and I don't know whether to be angry about it because it's a decent point. I think you're right. He just doesn't have that kind of personality, but that's the thing. Yeah. It's like the same pressure that's put on you when you're like the guy for Brazil, especially in that era when Ronaldinho's gone, R9's gone, that whole thing, and like you have the expectations of a nation.
No, that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm the biggest Neymar fan. I'm just saying, like I don't see him taking that leader role. You know,
Neymar is not a leader to me. I don't think so. You just gotta think about it. Like, bro, he just took a game off. You know, his sister's birthday coming up. He took the game off again this year. What is this? What, the 7th year in a row that Neymar's missed a game for his sister's birthday? March 11th. March 11th is Neymar's day, bro. You know he's not playing on that day. Around that date, he is gone. But I feel like, listen, if I was Neymar's teammate, I would respect him. I would respect his game and what he's done for the game. He's obviously one of the greatest players to ever play the game. But I'm not looking at Neymar as in like, yo, I got to come into training the same time as him. I got to do this. 100%. I got to do this on the field. Even when we talked to Hugo Ekitike from PSG this past summer, he said that like, you can't really copy Neymar because he does that you would never see any player ever do. Like, it's impossible to like look at him as an idol because he does everything on his own. Like he does things in the game that you wouldn't even thinking about on the pitch. So you can't really look at him as an idol because you can't do what he does.
That's true. I think also a lot of the Brazil squad's pretty young, but I don't know if there was that mentality and like they idolized him growing up yet. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you need maybe another generation of lads to come in. I mean, the only one who probably is like starstruck around Neymar is Endrick because he's still like 12.
12, yeah. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah. With Neymar, also, if he's trying to set an example, the lad who's 30 minutes late to training, I'm not sure he's the one you want to
Not
look
exactly,
up to.
Yeah, man, for sure. But I think also this also goes up to where Brazil is right now, man. The lack of scoring on the Brazilian national team is scary. Vinicius Jr. has 5 goals in 37 games, and obviously a complete difference in playing for Real Madrid. He's at Real Madrid, he's obviously a demon. He's scoring goals every other game. Brazil, he just can't seem to find his footing. Do you think it's a system issue?
In a way, it is. Yeah. I mean, teams play differently against Madrid than they do against Brazil, obviously. In Brazil, have you ever watched CONMEBOL qualifying?
Bro, those games are rough.
Have you ever wanted to fall asleep while watching football?
Yeah.
It's absolutely rubbish.
It's just guys kicking each other.
Yeah, it's just guys kicking each other, and it is the most, like, disgusting low block you'll ever see in your life. And Vini is unbelievable, but just give him the ball, triple teamed, what is he supposed to do?
So let's say this as well. You know, Neymar obviously coming into his own in Santos, coming into form, doing his thing, getting called up to the Brazil national team. Do you think if Neymar went back to Europe, he would have an impact?
I think everyone knows that he still had more in him when he went to Al Hilal.
Okay.
But the question is, does he still have it now? I mean, I think he could have a couple more years in.
Really?
Yeah.
What, like top level?
You think?
Don't tell me you wouldn't love to see him play with Lamine Yamal.
Okay, I would.
I'd love to see it, but I don't know, man.
Practically though, would it work?
I mean, what, you want me to be ultra logical with this?
Yeah.
That means you'd have to bench Raphinha because you need a pivot still, don't you? You need 3 mids for Hansi Flick. Raphinha is currently playing on the left. Lamine Yamal's off the right. Lewandowski's through the middle. One of those three one of those 3 forwards has to go. You're not going to bench Jamal because your principle is he's got to play with you.
No, and you're not going to bench Raphinha because he's also arguably had one of the best starts of the season.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
if Neymar's going to go back to Europe, he shouldn't go to a big team. He should go to a club that's going to shape around him. Like, I'll say like a Napoli or Atalanta or like something like that. Like, I would love to see him at a club where they're competing, but they're not like top. Because for Neymar, you have to build a team around Neymar. He's not the same player.
So get him to Tottenham is what I'm hearing.
Oof. You might have to say, hey, Levy, break the bank for Neymar. That'd be insane. Bring Neymar to Spurs.
Anything, bro. That's the thing about the Spurs, isn't it? And like we had this conversation like last week about like responsible club ownership. But it's the wages, isn't it, with Spurs that are absolutely terrible.
If you were a Brazilian legend like R9 or Ronaldinho, what would you think about the current state of the Brazil national team?
Embarrassing, I think is the only word that comes to mind. Because and mainly, I think it's because there's no chemistry on the team.
Yeah.
If you've watched the game, like there's no understanding between the players, and I think it is because they're missing a leader. But Neymar isn't going to play that role, and I think a lot of us thought Vini would play that role.
Bro.
Yeah.
But he's young too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's true, and I think speaking of, Ronaldinho literally said, I think after the Copa America, this quote went viral, and I think it was a little bit misquote, like a bit out of context, but he basically said, "This Brazil team, man, I don't like watching them."
Yeah.
How much must that suck as a Brazilian though? If you're like your guy, your Ballon d'Or winner, like a football legend, is like, you guys are trash.
It was funny. I remember watching a video, like an edit of like Anthony dribbling on the right side, and like R9 was at the game watching him do it, and he's just like, bro, why is he doing fidget spins on the right wing? Like back in my day, I would take it, dribble past 5 people and bang it, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, part of that is expectations, right? Because it's like, I mean, and this is a bit of a false equivalency, but it's like Paquetá, Bruno Guimaraes, and like, is it Joel Linton? Whoever the hell plays in that midfield.
Yeah.
And it's like a mixture of like Brazilian top flight lads up front and Vini. Like, it's not the same squad. They're nowhere near as good. So it's like, how do you live up to that? I don't know.
I think the next step for Brazil is trying to figure out their identity, how they're going to play. Hopefully Neymar could have an impact on the team as well. And I think for Vinicius Jr., it's really hard for him, man. To play for the Brazil national team is so much pressure. And when you're the main guy on that team, you have to produce, and they expect you to produce every game because they've seen legends like Ronaldinho, R9, like Rivaldo, like all these guys come through and win World Cups and do their thing. So to live in a generation where the team is not the same as quality as what it was before, but you can't even have that expectation. There's not footballers like that anymore.
Well, that's true. I mean, and go on, I'll ask the football boomer question for both of you. If Vini had a decent Copa America and Brazil weren't rubbish, does he win the Ballon d'Or last year?
Probably.
Yes.
You think
Yeah.
so?
100%.
I think that was the only slight on Vini was the fact that the Copa America did not go well for Brazil.
And that was the strong point for Rodri, obviously.
For Rodri.
Who won the Euros.
He won the Euros.
But there would be no debate if he had won it, in my opinion.
Really? Interesting. I don't know. I think Rodri, and this hurts as a Liverpool fan. But I think Rodri was a class above. But I think it's a lot closer. I think like the actual gap in quality and impact was a lot bigger than people would have you believe, but I think it would be so much closer if Vini had been, even if he'd been good at Copa America, because he got a couple of yellow cards and he got suspended for the, what would it have been, quarterfinals or round of 16 or something. He was really poor at that tournament, and I think that hurt him a lot. But also, like, how do you score like 2 goals in like what, Champions League semi-final and final, and everyone's like, yeah, you're rubbish.
Nah, I don't get it, bro. Some people's expectations are just a little bit too much.